Jahi, we are live on Yonkers Voice, and I wanted to talk to you for a while to know exactly what happened, at least your version of what happened with the current nominee for the Democratic Party for Westchester County Legislator. Tell us what happened that day.
It was over a series of days, over a series of weeks, maybe even dragged on for a few months. I was contacted I used to work campaigns if you were in Westchester and involved in, campaigns, me, and I always had a team of young people that I would go out with and hand out literature and, do, canvassing and the like for campaigns. I was contacted to work on Ruth Walter's campaign. And so I got my kids together, my young people, I call them my kids, they were teenagers. And this was their summer job. And it was an opportunity for me to help them get some money, for school clothes. Being a teenager is expensive. You got to have the fly sneakers and all that. So anyway, they go out and they working in the summer, they working in the heat, they doing the canvassing, and they're not getting paid. And every week it's a different excuse. It's a different excuse. And then her account person, her campaign finance person was ill, not well, sick, whatever.
Jahi, hold on 1 second so people who are watching can follow. When you're talking, they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid by Ruth, right?
They're not getting paid by her campaign, yeah. So, so it's dragging on and dragging on. So, I don't sit around and wait for nothing. So I make a phone call, I'm trying to get in touch with her, I get in touch with her, and she's telling me her campaign finance person is sick, etc., etc. And then another time goes over, they have to raise the fund. So, it's getting close to back to school time. These kids, they need their money. So I pay the kids out of my own money. And I'd rather let them, because I brought them into it, I'd rather I be owed by the campaign instead of having some children out here owed, especially by a person who was the Democratic nominee. So, so then a few months go by, I'm starting to look for my money. Like, where's my money? Contacting Ruth, whatever. And then she starts playing games. She starts saying, well, how do I know you actually did the work? And then that changes into, then I pointed out some notable people's homes that I went by during the campaign, some judges, some elected officials that, saw me in their neighborhood, knocked on the door. So then she started making accusations that I was working on behalf, that this was an extortion attempt and whatever, just using language over the phone as if she was trying to, save some kind of verbiage. And then which then she started having me meet her places. Oh, meet me here, meet me there. What I didn't know was like she's a diabolical, evil genius because she was like making a trail. So finally one day she had me come to her headquarters, right? So I go to her headquarters, and when I walk in, the police are waiting for me. And she tells the police, yes, that's him. I said, what the hell going on here?
So let me get it. She kind of entrapped you, brought you into a location, right, and the police was there waiting for you.
She said, oh, we have your check, you're going to get paid. So I was like, okay. So I come to go get my money, and she got the police in there. Walk in, and the cop is like, he says, yeah, this woman, she tells me that you've been extorting, harassing, and threatening her. And I said, extorting, harassing, and threatening her. And so I cussed him out, and I'm like, I'm not a criminal, so I have no fear of the police, and I'm going to exercise my freedom of speech. So I give him a piece of my mind for even approaching me in the manner in which he approached me, without, asking questions. And then 2 minutes later, my father, who had dropped me off.
Who is your father?
My father is Jahi Lafayette.
Okay.
Walked through the door. And the officer recognized who he was. And so my father, wanted to know what was going on there. And said, you had him meet you here. What she didn't know was that my father was on the phone and had, and knew, about the situation. He just didn't get involved because I'm a grown man. So he did. He was waiting for me. He was ready to go get something to eat. If anybody knows Jahi Lafayette, when it's time to eat, he don't play. He ready to go. So this is supposed to be a simple pick up a check, and then I was gonna buy him something to eat. So he came in, and the cop recognized who he was, and the whole environment changed. And in his Jahi Lafayette way, he took control over the situation, and he asked the cop when he asked the cop what's going on, the cop explained that I had been harassing, threatening, and extorting Ruth, And my father said, in which way? My father said, now she filed it. Now why didn't y'all come pick him up and bring him in? I asked him to come in for questioning. What is this ambush? This is not police work. He wanted to know who dispatched the officer. The officer said, oh no, I'm here. The Ruth piped in speaking for the officer, say he's here as a friend. And then my father said, oh, your friend who happens to be in uniform with a gun on his hip?
And before, which police department is this?
It had to be, I guess, Bronxville, because that's where the headquarters was. It was next door to her chief.
I just want to make sure people understand everything.
And I had a feeling that what she was trying to do, because the language she was using, she was accusing, and I have the text messages and the phone conversation still saved that I'll get to you. Because she was just saying that me and my father was working for Gordon. She kept bringing my father into the situation, and he wasn't in. I said, what you got to do with my father? He was like, well, yeah, I hear as the Democratic chair, he extorts people for money. This he might have sent you to get his campaign kickback and all this other nonsense. And so she, and so when she was telling me to, come to her shop to, meet her to get paid, I knew what was going on because I could see it in her, but she ain't right. So what I did was I would buy stuff. So I still have the receipt. When I went to her cheese shop, I bought a grilled cheese. It was a fantastic grilled cheese too. Very nice young person in there made it. I left him a big tip, and I bought a lemonade. I had my homeboy with me. We bought some lemonade, and we bought some grilled cheese sandwiches. Because I wanted a receipt, and I knew there was cameras in there. What she was trying to do was catch me in there and make it look like I'm coming in there to extort her, because that's the language she was using. What she did, and she was very conscious of what she did. You look at my mouth, you see my white gold fangs. You see how I am. You see I'm a very large man. I got a big beard. I'm a black man. I'm a young man. So what she used my appearance and my culture against me. And it was definitely at a time where there was a lot of bad interaction, that led to deaths between black men and police. She knowingly, as a white woman, weaponized the police against me. And she used the way I look, to do it. Because if you told somebody on the street, if you ran up to a cop and told them, hey, that guy's harassing me, that guy's threatening me, you look and you see a big 300-pound man with white gold fangs and a big beard, baseball hat, and a hoodie, you would think the same thing. You look at me and you think thug. I'm not a thug, I'm not a gangster, and so she weaponized my appearance, she weaponized my ethnicity against me, and she knew exactly what she's doing. She's devious and she's demonic, and there's no place for her in Westchester County government. She got the nomination by default because Mark Fang dropped out the race, but she has no business representing anything that says Democratic Party, and she should drop out the race. Oh, and when questioned about and my father asked her to verify for the cop how I was threatening her. You know what she told the cop? He was threatening my campaign. He said if I didn't pay him, he was going to campaign against me. He was going to create literature and tell the constituents what I did, how she stiffed those kids out of her money. My father's response was, he is an American citizen. He has the right to campaign for whoever he wants to campaign. What crime? And so when the cop heard threatening her campaign, you should have seen the look of stupidity and bewilderment on his face. So,
now, do you feel that she did this because you are a black man, or she did this just to rip off, not to pay you?
She did it because I'm a black man, and she thought in her devious way, she knew that the children that worked on her campaign were black children, and she knew where they came from, that they came from Mount Vernon, and she felt that she could just stiff them and treat them that way. But I had their back. Of course, I'm never going to bring anybody into any situation where there looks to be some monetary gain, and they don't get that monetary gain, and I'm not able to cover them. So I paid those kids. You know what I mean? And I paid those young people. And she figured she could get away with it on me and villainize me and weaponize the police against me because I'm a black man. There's no question in my mind that she only did that because of the way I look. I mean, and she was going to try to, because of whose child I was, whose son I am, she was going to try to make it seem like some type of extortion kickback attempt, which ain't at all. Because if we wanted to extort somebody and get a kickback, it damn sure wouldn't be no Ruth Walter.
If she was right here, or if you came to face with Ruth, what would you tell him?
Oh, hold on. And she's also very antagonizing. Let me see. So I saw her even after these events at the Democratic convention, and she attempted to speak to me and laughing and giggling like something was funny. She put my life at risk. You know, that cop could have been on some cowboy quick draw, whatever, and just laid me down right there. And walking through the door, you know, if he, you know, I can't really give him no kudos because he really let her bait him into that like a world-class idiot. But, you know, I guess to his credit, he actually, you know, approached the situation with some form of decorum and sense, because another cop might have took me down, wrestled me, used that as an opportunity to, you know, to do something real ill to me. So anyway, I saw her at the Democratic convention, and she took it as a joke. And she was sitting next to Simara Brandon, a black woman, and I told Simara Brandon, so I was like, you know, and I had some colorful words for Ruth right, you know, I don't hold my tongue, so, you know, I had some colorful words for her right there in the convention, you know. And some of her friends said, oh, that's no, and I said, don't talk like that. And she said, oh, I said, you know what she did to me? She said, oh, that's no big deal. What do you mean it's no big deal? And like, you know, she put my life at risk. She weaponized the police. That's some pure, Karen, disgusting behavior.
Thank you very much for clear and letting the people know your side of the story. I appreciate it. Thank you.